meeting you, I think, for the third time in your school.
Yes, it's the third time.
The first time I came to your school, I didn't meet you. I met the principal who acquired a number of copies of our book titled Career Dynamics in the 21st Century. And I believe you had a chance of reading the book.
Yes.
After it was put in your library. And I don't know how you found the book once you read it.
Oh yeah, I remember that was in 2018.
Yeah.
And a year before then, I was appointed guidance and counseling teacher in our school. Then when you came to our school, the book was purchased. And I didn't make a point of meeting you, but I was brought the book by the deputy then. And I took one copy because there were 5 copies. So I took one, I went through it. Yeah, and it was an eye-opener. Yeah, because the career dynamics have content that is in line with our learners. People out there, teachers, and all professionals. So after reading it, that is when I discovered that these learners that we teach, as teachers, also other professionals, there's a way in which our brains are aligned. And that is the brain orientation of each and every one of us. So it was good information.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you decide to further your knowledge in whatever way after reading the book?
Yeah, after reading it, I got an insight that I'm doing this counseling, but I'm using my own way, my own knowledge, and it could be I'm misleading the learners other than doing what is right. So I decided, let me go back to school. So I went back for a higher diploma in counseling and psychology, and after 2 years, I was through, and I'm using that knowledge.
Wow.
That I acquired there. And the reason why I went for a diploma is because it is practical oriented. Yeah, so that I can disseminate that knowledge too.
Wow, congrats for that decision.
Thank you so much.
I believe you are now a better counselor after the diploma course and also after reading Career Dynamics in the 21st Century, which is loved a lot by guidance and counseling teachers. And I still remember sometimes in November 2020, I came to your school again. This time I was delivering the book titled Living Beyond Survival, something no more to doing in life. And actually I met a different principal. And the principal, before making any decision, she called you, she summoned you from your office. And what surprised me is that when you came, you looked like you knew me. And we started having a discussion.
I remember.
What made you look like you knew me? Is it because you have read my book and you've seen my picture or something?
Yes, that is one of the things. Having read the book, the front of the book, there is
my identity is very clear.
The identity is very clear. So when I came to the office, then you said your name.
Yeah.
Then you flash back. I have this book in the house. So this is the other. So that's why I got excited and we had to chat more.
Yes.
Know each other more. Yeah, and that's when we started chatting, became friends. We shared ideas about these books, about the careers, how we should align ourselves to our
national orientation.
Yeah, brain orientation. It was nice.
And what excited me is that almost immediately you recommended that you take 5 copies of the second book, Living Beyond Survival.
Yeah, you are right.
Which I don't know whether you read immediately or what happened after that.
I read immediately. And in this book, it is kind of its continuation of the career dynamics in the 21st century. Because the second book, the Living Beyond Survival and No More Toying in Life, is all about wherever you are, whichever career that you are in, are you comfortable there?
Are you following your passion?
Are you following your passion?
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing it as per your brain orientation?
Mm-hmm.
If you are not, that's where you get people are depressed. People are not comfortable in the area they are working in because they do not align themselves to their brain orientation.
Wow.
So I'm using the knowledge or the content in this book to help others.
Wow.
Not to get into a career that is not part of them, that is not their passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you this for fact, that so many young people are coming now to me so that I help them or I guide them accordingly, get into the career.
So you have now become a consultant.
Exactly. Something like that.
Very encouraging.
Yeah.
Something else. I later came back to your school and somehow I met you. And you told me about the TPD,
Yes.
Teacher Professional Development Program that had just been introduced by TSC, Teacher Service Commission, isn't it?
Sure.
And you indicated that you are one of the first people to register TPD, yet there were even court cases about it. You know, the TSC had been taken to court by some of the teachers about it. How come you, registered for the same so early when others were resisting?
I think I was driven by this book, Living Beyond Survival. Because it talks about being in your career or career of your own passion, whereby you are dictated by your brain orientation. So I reflected on what is happening in the country. You have the CBC coming, or which is already in the system. These kids, or the way the CBC is in such a way that the kids are doing activities or they are doing subjects according to what they are good in. Yeah. So if they are so good in maths, we are not going to
What's them to do history?
Exactly.
Good. Now, that feedback is very good. I just want to give you some few updates. First and foremost, career dynamics in the 21st century was not only approved for circulation in schools in 2016, but also used for architecture of the competency-based curriculum, CBC. Upon reading and knowing what is happening in CBC, do you agree with that?
I agree with
that perception?
I agree. And to add a point on that, the TPD modules that we are doing, they are aligned to the CBC. So it is all about accommodating every child into the system, unlike the old system whereby we are putting them in one basket, but some have no capability or ability for us.
Now, TPD, I don't know about it, but what I can tell you is that I know people, policymakers in the Teacher Service Commission, who have read my books very well. The first one is the Quality Assurance Director, who was initially working at KICD when CBC was being architectured. So when I met him at TSC, the first thing he did was to buy Living Beyond Survival so that he can update himself. I also know that the staffing director, once she was county director in Nyeri, also acquired career dynamics in the 21st century for her own purposes. And the HR director at TSC also acquired the 2 books for himself at TSC. Now, what I can see is these 3 people being policy makers at TSC having been influenced somehow by my 2 books, and that is why you have no problems relating with what TPD talks about. I don't know whether you see it that way.
It's true. In fact, the TPD is going as per these two books, The Dynamics in the 21st Century and also Living Beyond Survival.
Wow. That's encouraging.
Yeah, because the content in the TPD is all about how can you make this child get into the career that he or she will be self-reliant.
Mm-hmm.
And he will be very comfortable there. He will be very productive. Yeah.
I'm very encouraged by the feedback that you have given me based on what you have experienced after reading Career Dynamics in the 21st Century and Living Beyond Survival. What I would ask you is, as a teacher, a guidance and counseling teacher, what would you advise other teachers and also principals of schools in Kenya?
Okay. My advice is, if you don't have a copy of these two books, kindly read them. Acquire and read, because you are going to get more knowledge on how we have to change from the way we used to do things in the 20th century to what is happening now in the 21st century, so that you get aligned and we guide children, we guide students, we guide other people in our nation, so that at least our nation will become productive. Our nation will become, a place whereby wherever you are in your career, you will work to your best, because that is coming from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, I have the final question.
Yes.
I have heard from the political sector that CBC is likely to be abolished when there's a new government. Based on what you know or how CBC is aligned, is that likely to happen? Can in other words, can the 844 be continued the way it is?
I may not give a very concrete answer to that, but my advice is CBC is a good program. That is what I can say. CBC is a good program.
Wow. I know we can discuss more and more, but since we have other engagements, I want to thank you for the discussion today and encourage you to continue encouraging others in your school and beyond to continue reading the two books. And don't forget, we also conduct seminars to make the understanding of the alignment of the 21st century easier. We do it for teachers, we do it for Form 2s, Form 3s, Form 4s, and every now and then I'm conducting seminars in different counties. So far, I've conducted seminars in different schools in 12 counties. In fact, even next week, I have like 2 or 3 seminars in one county. So that empowerment is still continuing, and I'm encouraged, I'm inspired by what I've gotten from a teacher, and that will continue making me stronger and stronger as I continue empowering our future leaders and also those who are taking care of them. Thank you so much for taking time and giving me that very, very important feedback.
Welcome.
Thank you.